Welcome to Uncover the Human, where every conversation revolves around enhancing all the connections in our lives.
Whether that's with our families, coworkers, or even ourselves.
When we can be our authentic selves, magic happens.
This is Cristina Amigoni.
And this is Alex Cullimore.
Let's dive in.
Welcome back to this episode of Uncover the Human. Today, Cristina and I are joined by our guest, Laura Shepard. Welcome to the podcast, Laura.
Thank you, Alex and Cristina. I'm super grateful to be here.
Welcome.
We're excited to have you. So if you wouldn't mind giving the audience just a little background, what's your story? What brought you here?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to share. I am a leadership coach, and my background is corporate. So I was in marketing in the consumer packaged goods world. I'm Canadian. All of my work has been in Canada, but with global brands and Canadian brands. And I worked my way up the ladder. Had an amazing journey. Really was a high achiever. Like went for the goals, got the goals, and kept doing that. And then one day I kind of woke up and went, is this all there is? Because I was getting all the jobs. I was doing what I wanted to do. I was achieving the goals, and kind of looked around and went, it's not really meaningful anymore. It was at the start. Like I learned so much. I got so much out of learning business, learning branding, learning marketing, learning a whole lot out of my career path. But it wasn't satisfying anymore. My compass was spinning. My internal compass was spinning, going, what do I find next? And, it took me a while to figure that out. I did a couple of exploration side launches. I left the corporate world and went to the Caribbean for $40 a day plus tips to teach scuba diving and drive boats. I'm like, yeah, why did you come? Everyone's like, why did you come back?
Yeah.
But, I wanted to open I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always had it. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I wanted to open my own scuba business, but I wanted to go live it, breathe it, feel it, see if it really was. So I did a path along that for about 4 years, loved every minute of it. Knew it wasn't the path that I actually wanted to be in from a business point of view. So came back to the corporate world, got back into marketing. My compass then started spinning yet again. And I found the ultimate path that I found now is coaching. And, I've done a lot of coaching in my life. I teach scuba diving. I teach skiing. I also coached my staff and my team in corporate. And when I actually started working with the coach myself to figure out my own direction, it came through loud and clear that I'm supposed to help people find their own path and help them with communication and leadership and how they can be aligned within themselves and live from an energy of authenticity so that they can be the best that they can be. I know that sounds hokey, but it's so rewarding, and I love it. And here I am now doing it.
That's a wonderful story. I love the internal compass piece that you brought up a couple of times, because it's a lot of that coaching, especially, it's teaching people or helping people understand when they hear and acknowledging and have the awareness of that internal compass kind of ringing the bells and saying, like, this is not right, what's happening here. And so how did you realize that was happening, and what did it feel like? What does it feel like when the internal compass it's kind of off?
Oh, that's such a great question, Cristina. Thank you. Because I didn't listen to it for the longest time. And it took, for me, the internal compass spinning felt just like I was tired. I was working hard, but I wasn't feeling like I was making any progress. I was like, it was hard to get out of bed in the morning. And it was like, what am I here for? And I kind of was, but it took me a long time. It took me a lot of energy, wasted energy that I fought against myself. So it was this negative internal sort of conflict that I felt before I woke up to say, I got to do something about this. And what do I do about it? Right. And I think when I just said that, like, what do you do about it? I didn't know, right? I didn't know what to do, but I didn't know how to figure it out. Because strong, independent woman, I have all the answers. I can do this.
You'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. That was my identity. And so that it was a lot of internal struggle is how I really felt. And when I stepped out of my zone and I met a coach and she was being coached with me and was being curious and asking me questions, I kind of went, whoa, I need help. And it's okay to ask for help. So that was my first step of trying to figure out how to stop the spin and find a direction.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I don't think anybody can relate to that feeling. Nobody has internal struggle. Only you. No, that is absolutely a good description of what the internal tension that you can feel when you start to have that inauthentic drift and you start to move into like, hey, wait, was this right for me? Is this what I actually want to be doing? And I'm curious how it started to feel when you started to feel like you were on the right chart, on the right path with that compass, when you felt like what does it feel like then?
Oh, you guys are good. Another good question here. Pulling the real stuff out. Because what I want to say is, it's amazing and I'm aligned. No, and it is amazing.
It is amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. The feeling of alignment on the path. I know it's a knowing for me. My visualization and my feeling is a knowing. So it's an internal in my gut, in my chest. I feel aligned. The tension goes away. So it's really powerful. And it's really hard because I am now I'm aligned, but it's uncomfortable because it's more uncertain and I'm figuring things out. And it's an exciting discomfort. Whereas before I was like uncomfortable, but comfortable in my discomfort, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And now it's like I'm uncomfortable in a good way for growth and learning, but it doesn't make it easy. And in the back of my brain, I was like, well, once I find my purpose and my direction and I get aligned, it's going to be all, rainbows and unicorns. And it wasn't. It isn't.
That's a great way of describing it. I like the idea of kind of a comfortable discomfort where you're starting to drift and you've made your life comfortable, but you don't feel good about it, versus an exciting discomfort, which is, this is still really hard, but I'm glad I'm on this path.
Yes.
And there's a lot more reward, and it's not all hard. There's a lot more reward, and I know I'm on the right path. And now I look at the discomfort as, ooh, I'm growing. This is good.
Yeah.
And where I'm finding what I need to remind myself of sometimes is, okay, when I'm in a zone of, it's still of growth, enjoy and celebrate and reward myself along the way, because this is what it's about for me. And I've released that. Well, I say I've released the attachment to outcomes. I continue to release the attachment to outcomes. More accurately.
It's a muscle. It's not a metal.
It's a muscle. I get it, and then it comes back, and I get it, and then it comes back. But it's rewarding yourself along that path, because it really is the path, and it definitely feels totally different than the comfortable discomfort. And it gives me energy. And then I remind myself when it's hard, I'm choosing this hard, and I'm loving it, versus just going, letting life happen. I'm choosing.
Yeah. I think it's a really important distinction on the separation of rewards. You talked about the first part of your story. You're coming up and you're just wanted to achieve all the goals, checking the boxes, making sure hey, this is the next thing I want to do. And you get there. And there's that feeling of external accomplishment. And then this path you're talking about, you're finding these internal rewards of this feels good, this feels right, and finding the ways to celebrate that for yourself so that you remind yourself, hey, that's important. It's important to continue to check in with, hey, this feels good. This is good for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think in our world today, we forget to reward ourselves. It's so busy, it's so chaotic, and the world is still telling us we're supposed to be doing things. And it's like, it's a constant muscle, as you said earlier, Cristina, to actually practice and work through that. And we need to reward ourselves. That's what life's about. Like, it's not about all rewards, but it's about when you do something, celebrate. And we forget. It's too busy. So.
Well, and I find that rewarding ourselves during the journey, in the progress, instead of at the end or hoping somebody else will reward us at the end, because we're never good enough to be rewarding ourselves. I think it helps with that awareness of realizing like, oh, the compass is pointing in the right direction or it's not. But without that pause, as things are happening, it's harder to recognize, like, am I in alignment? Is this not in alignment? Is it internal or is it external? Like, what can I do here? Where's my choice? If we don't actually pause to recognize what's going on.
That's a wonderful distinction, because it is rewarding in the journey, not at the end. Mm-hmm. And that's where true, for me anyways, that's where true alignment comes from. It's like, it is the process. It's in that's life. Like the end game, there is no end game.
So that brings up one of the things you brought up. You said you found a coach, and that coach was helpful in like realizing, hey, maybe I need some help. And I think that, personally, I find that coaching's useful, particularly in providing that reflection point of not only helping remind you when you should do things like celebrate, reward yourself. You have some third-party perspective saying, hey, this is big, but also that reflection point of being able to look at yourself and say, oh, this compass seems out of alignment. And there's something profound about somebody who's able to reflect accurately enough that you can comfortably, or at least without totally turning away, face yourself in the mirror.
Oh yeah. No, the having a coach to be that third-party safe, non-judgmental space, to hold the mirror up for us. And they do more than hold the mirror. They hold the mirror and challenge you, right? Mm-hmm. In the way that to open you up, to help you look at yourself, to get to what the root is of what's going on in your journeys and your choices. And when you get there, I mean, that's where that support and accountability, right? It's like, it's accountability as well. And it's powerful. It's a powerful, powerful place to be, have someone hold space for you. It's only about you. It's like you're seen, you're heard, and it's all you, and you get to be you. And so many people in our world are not seen and heard in the way that they need or want to be.
So very true. Very true. Yeah. That mirror, it's interesting because it is more than just a mirror. It's like, yes, like you see your reflection, but you also see the cave behind you. And you're like, you see that? You need to walk there. Can we go walk there?
The answer you need is in the cave you need to look into. I totally didn't do that right, but that's that.
Yes.
I love that quote.
Yes. Especially when there's a lot of, I'm fine. And I'm like, sure you are.
Well, that word fine and the word should are two red flags I've found with my clients. It's like, oh yeah, okay, let's dig in here.
Yes.
So when you think about the journey that you've taken, how does that coaching both inform your own personal compass that you're currently on the trajectory of making sure you're in this leadership coach position, and how do you see that helping other people?
Great question. Yeah, I mean, I think for my personally, because I'm more aligned with where I am showing up everywhere more authentically me. I used to be, work Laura and life Laura, and now I'm all, no matter what situation I show up in, I'm all me. And that when I show up as all me, people resonate. The people that resonate with me. Not everybody's going to resonate with me, and that's fine. But the people that I can help, or that I can, or that can help me, the alignment of myself personally helps that connection. And then helping others, it's really, leadership starts with ourselves. And when you are aligned with yourself, you can communicate better. You understand different things. You understand how what you do and say impacts others. And you understand it doesn't mean we can't change anybody but ourselves. And we can influence through how we show up and how we communicate and how we lead as people. And then that can help you in your careers, right? It's like, how do you influence to get what you want, but it starts with a clarity of alignment of what you want.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, and looking inward and understanding like that self leadership. It's like, okay, how do I lead myself? How do I communicate with myself so that then I can understand how to do it with others? A lot of times, especially when we think about leadership, or, in most definitions of leadership, it's always outward. It's like it's about others. And I'm like,
Yes.
Is it about others?
I agree that it is not about others.
Yes.
Others, it's only about others after it's about you. Right?
Yes.
And the beauty of the humanity is connection is what we all need, right? And so you're not alone living in a cave, even if you have to go search the cave behind you.
Yes. Yes.
You're not living alone in a cave. We're in community, and so how we lead ourselves is a reflection of how you impact others. And so if we just look at the externals of how we should be and how, okay, are you authoritative? Are you like collaborative? Are you all of those things? That's one thing, that's all external, but how do you show up naturally within you? And when you understand how you are actually versus what you think you should be, then it just changes everything. It changes how you show up. It changes how you communicate. It's powerful because you're not chasing something you're not chasing or running away from something. You're working towards something. If that, to me, that's where it all comes together. It's like, I want to be moving towards possibility, and that's alignment with who you are and how you lead yourself and others versus running away from something or chasing something.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about the idea of kind of running to your compass and being in uncomfortable discomfort. Like you're trying to, in a life when you're living a little less authentically, you're trying to pad away all those pieces of discomfort. So you're making comfort by running away from that discomfort. Whereas in the exciting discomfort that you're identifying of moving towards your internal compass, this is something where you're pushing towards this thing you want. You're pushing towards it. Doesn't mean that it's easier, but you have a direction you're moving towards instead of something you're moving away from. And there's something really powerful in the continual reevaluation of your life in that. And when you start to reflect that on a leadership perspective, we've seen this over and over again. There's so much projection when we're really worried about others. We're painting this just really great silhouette of exactly ourselves that we just don't see.
It's
All
so
the time.
true. All the time.
Yeah.
And we're all humans. I'm by no means perfect. And I still have a coach. And I will always have a coach.
Yes.
So that I can, sanity check myself
Yes.
and keep growing and learning. But the energy of moving towards gives you possibilities. You see possibilities and creativity in front of you versus the energy of moving away from is like it's tight and closed and sort of not, you don't see what's around you. And what I like about when you're on your compass path, the right direction, it doesn't mean that's the direction forever. It means that's the direction you've aligned to and find now. And as you start down that path, if you're moving towards something, all of a sudden other possibilities come up along the way and you get to choose. Is that, hey, maybe that's where I want to go off to the Northwest right now versus the East because there's something interesting over there that I want to explore. Or maybe you don't, but you see it and you choose and then you keep moving or you realign your compass to a new direction. There's no straight line either, right? It's like it's going to take us all over the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's about choosing.
Yeah. That's a great distinction, and also elaboration on the compass, because there is this sense of wanting to be in the comfort zone and wanting to be in as much there as possible. It's just like, oh, okay, let me get this, uncomfortable for a little bit, move the compass, figure out the alignment, and then I'm done. and having that attachment to like, this is the direction. And then, a lot of what happens is the more we stay in that direction, especially when we start feeling that it's not aligned anymore, it's like, oh, but I can't change now because of the sunk cost. Because, I would have wasted all these years or all these months or all this energy into this thing that was the direction. So I have to pour more into that direction as opposed to go back to what's the compass telling me here.
Agreed. It's like what's really important, and that's a constant reflection. right? And so the other thing that I find leaders and most people don't do is reflect often enough, and reflect with the purpose of what did I learn and where do I want to keep going, versus just a reflection of, okay, here are the routes, here are the stats, here's what happened, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
you know, and like they do all the checkpoints. Check, yes, I did that. It's the checkbox, like Alex, you said I did before, which was very true. I checked off all the boxes, and it's like the reflection of check, done that, versus the reflection of, okay, that worked and I did it. Great. Is it what I still want to do, or how do I want to evolve it, or what else do I want to add to it or take away from it? You know, and all of those things, and reflect, you know, often, so that it's not this one big massive thing. Like I make it a weekly reflection for myself, and it's as simple as like, how do I look at my week? How do I look at my week going forward? What do I want to accomplish this week? And then at the end of the week, what did I accomplish? And not from a sense of judgment, or I didn't get that done. I didn't get that done. It's like, okay, I put too much in that a week that I thought I could get done. And I'm starting to get this energy of not achieving something. And it's like, wait, okay, so moving forward, put less in my week and do better, right? Do more quality work, or do more focused work. And I adjust it every week depending on what happens. And every week's different, but it's like reflecting and learning. Taking it as feedback is learning. That's it, right?
Yes.
So
That's a really great way of just explaining like more productive reflection, rather than just there is the reflection that's natural in so many workplaces and so much leadership. That's just, are we on track for this project? What is our status? How much percentage are we complete? Where should we have been by now? How do I make up that delta? Whatever it is, there's that focus on it's again feels like running away versus running towards. We're trying to avoid the failure of feeling like, oh, I didn't do this right, versus like, well, what are all the possibilities of how I'm going to do this differently and better, and how are we going to, like, are we even on the right path? Have we reevaluated that in a little bit? Is this the right way to do this? And entering that non-judgmental evaluation space is incredibly powerful, without thinking like, oh, what are all the ways that I haven't made the goals that I meant to? Like, what am I learning this week? What did I take on that was just too much? Like, we can't know what we don't know going into it. I had so many plans for this week, and this week has gotten absolutely away from me. But that's how this week was going to go. I can't change that, and it wasn't something that was anybody's fault. It's just how the week laid out. And if we can actually enter that and then decide, hey, what are we going to do about this? That gives us so much more foothold and adaptability in life going forward, rather than just, oh, I'm not doing this right and I need to correct.
yes, it's not about not doing anything right or wrong. I love that. It's just, it's not about right or wrong. It's about what's working for me based on what I want and my objectives and my goals, and what's not working for me. And a lot of times I'm finding in my own life, it's like, what do I need to take away versus what do I need to add? Because I'm like, how do I strip it away? To me, it's like the Michelangelo and David. Right? It's like it's like, how did you carve David? Well, I didn't. David just came out of the stone, right? He took away what wasn't David, and David appeared. And so, how do we take away? To me, that's a strong. I've just been reflecting on this and acting on this in the last sort of month, and it's really been powerful. It's like, what do I need to take away versus what do I need to add? Because usually I have a to-do list. Like, I've got all of these things, and it's like all of this stuff, and I want to get it done, and I'm excited about it. And I'm like, but it's not practical. So instead of setting myself up for failure, I want to say, which there's nothing wrong. Again, there's no right or wrong, no failure. It's like my version of success is looking back and going, I had a good week, I had a bad week, it's okay. Either both are okay, and I'm going to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Well, and the challenge, I love the David image, because the challenge is like, as we're chipping away to our authenticity, which is, the David, like if we are not aware of what's too much, then we also, risk taking away David's hand. And that was supposed to stay there. That wasn't covering David. That was actually necessary.
And then you
that is so true.
You're trying to reattach.
Exactly. Now you're trying to reattach it.
That's so true. That's so true. And it's like, it's to me, it's about being that. How am I living up to myself and my expectations with the understanding and realization that I'm not at my highest best. I know what I am when I'm at my best and I'm performing and I'm in flow and everything's happening and all of that. And it's like, and everything's working in the way that I want it to work. That doesn't happen every day all the time. And it's reflecting and giving myself grace that, I did 100% of what I was able to today, now, present, and tomorrow will be another day. And I will be 100% at that day. But that doesn't mean that it's at my best all the time. Or the top of my game. I'm always at my best, but I'm not at the top of my game all the time, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And that one is a huge lesson that everybody at some point, I think, learns when we try and test our limits and believe that we should be at 110% at all times. And that's a really good example of one of those reflections that helps us in leadership too. Once we realize that I can't run at 100% all the time, then we might loosen the expectation a little bit, take the foot off the gas a little bit over all of our people, and saying like, why haven't you done this? Why aren't you running at 1,000% all the time? And those are the kind of narratives that end up having people separate their work self and their life self, because their work self is supposed to be this 100% person, and their life self just will have to absorb whatever is left over. So I'm curious what else you see as far as like self-reflection powering that leadership muscle and that understanding, the leading from self that helps others.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a great reflection what you said on, we work our teams too hard at times because of our own expectations. And there's nothing wrong with having high expectations for your team and their people, right? So how do you lead your people? Well, you lead yourself and give yourself a break, and you set clear expectations. I mean, expectations have to be set, and everyone has to understand them. And recognizing that, your team actually understands them, I think is powerful too. Because a lot of people, okay, here's the expectations, great, go. It's like, wait, let's have a conversation. What does that actually mean, and what does that look like? Because it's like, there's one thing to have a number that you got to achieve, right? Or whatever that is in your business. And then there's how you get there. And the how, what I think from a leadership point of view, the challenges I've personally run into, and I've seen some of my clients run into, is like they expect the how to be done the way they would do it. And there's many hows. It's like, I believe there's many ways to live your life. There's many hows. And your team, you got to empower your teams and your people to do the how the way that they will excel at it. And this is where, I'm releasing the outcome, but results are, the result is here, that the goal is here. It's like how you get there will come at it from many different angles, and your team knows how they can. And then you support them in that, right? You support them in how it's working for them. And it doesn't mean let them go off and, be willy-nilly. It's like the check-in points. It's communication, right? It's like making sure you're checking in and communicating, and not just having, here's the status report, boom, 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 right? It's like, how's it working? And being open and curious with your team on like, where are your problems? How is this working for, and so that then you can co-create, you can let them open up and you can co-create together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I really like that. That reminds me of the idea of you're saying like, hey, I set this compass direction. Maybe I feel like I'm closer to it. And that's not the same thing as setting it forever. And when we're setting expectations for our team, we have this idea, and it's good to have like that high expectation. I think we can do this. I know I have faith in the team that we can do these things. And that doesn't mean that's what reality is going to be able to deliver for us. Anything could happen in our general human lives to the team or to any individual that just changes what's going to be possible. Or maybe we did happen to set those expectations too high. It's like your weekly reflections. Hey, I put too many things on the to-do list and it just wasn't going to happen this time, and that's okay. I had expectations, and as long as I can approach those with grace, that's going to be okay. We can approach that as a team and say, hey, we had this goal, we're not going to make that goal, and that's okay. Here's what we learned, here's what we could do, can't do. Having that adjustment is super important, instead of just having like, hey, I've finally figured out I can just demand things and then just be upset if they're not that level.
Yeah, very true. And it's the reflection along the way, right? And the adjustment and and that's where communication amongst, leadership and team and cross-functionally and however it works, the communication has to be open and trust, based on trust, so that people can be I hate to use this word, but things can fail, right? Because failure is feedback, and it's like, what does that mean? This is what we thought, and that's the part of reassessing and reflecting. It's like, okay, we did this because we thought it was going to work along the way. It didn't work. Do we need to change direction, or is it just what are the other possibilities that could help it work, or do we need to tweak something that it's not exactly the outcome we thought, and we tweak it this way because now we know better, because what we thought would work didn't work. I'm talking a lot of roundabout, but sorry.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
no, that
it's true.
absolutely is it. And the other thing I don't want to sound like it's all just, oh, hey, we want to make sure we manage expectations for when things don't go well. When you have that openness and that communication you're talking about, you access the opportunity to get more than you thought out of this. Suddenly you've got communication points and somebody brings up some idea or some new thing comes through, and now you've accomplished more than you thought you were going to in this period or whatever. And that's only accessible if you've allowed for that space, that grace, and that adjustment to have that open communication, to have those dialogues, so that it's not just I set expectations and try and march to that expectation.
Absolutely, because you don't know what other people know, and you don't know how creatively they can come to the table and say, had you thought about this direction, right? And if they have that space of safety where they can communicate that, things can be, it's always about making it better overall, right? How do we make it a bigger whole, right? It's like, it's in allowing input across the board. There's times where you got to say, okay, no, we got to just keep moving. Like, you're a leader also to take accountability and show up and lead. And sometimes you have to like say, no, we have to move this way and we have to keep going. And that's where it is. So, because sometimes our leaders are visionaries and they see the vision. Sometimes those visionaries have to bring people along and they don't know how to do that. Right. And so it's about still having that balance, between the we need to go on this direction versus and allowing people to contribute in a way that supports everybody.
Yeah.
Well, and that balance it's really tough from a leadership perspective, because without the self-reflection, without the awareness of how we're thinking about things, how we're showing up, how we're communicating, and hopefully, with the definition that communication is not like, I told you the expectations, let's go, because that's not communication. But it's that balance of, hey, I'm also human, so I may not know everything. And if I don't allow for that dialogue, for that feedback, for everybody else's creativity and view of these things, I may be marching people off a cliff. And, so you probably want to create an environment where others contribute to it, because they may see something you don't see.
Absolutely. And that just triggered a thought for me where, as the leader, who's your leader and boss, and you have targets and you have like real world corporate, you got targets, you got to hit, and you're getting pressure from sides. So it's managing that balance to on both ends, right? Especially as leaders, you have to up and down and figure out how to keep moving the ship forward and not over a cliff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a tweak, but if the dialogue is not there, if the communication and safety is not there, you're going to go off the cliff.
Yes.
And bring as many people as they're blindly following with you.
You're so true. So true.
It feels like there's then all of the alignment of all of the compasses. Like, can I keep marching this path? Even if as a leader, do I say like, hey, I know that that's difficult, but this is, I think we're still on the right path, and I'm going to ask people to keep marching on this one. As the middle manager, at what point is your compass like, I can't continue to walk on this path? And at all levels, like, is this where I can keep going or not? And is this something that is worthwhile or not? And if everybody can reevaluate that, we can at least all decide consciously whether to stay on the boat or, hey, this just isn't the boat for me. Even if this boat's going to be okay, I have to be on a different one.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the self-awareness that we all need to continue to practice, right? And it's practice and reflect and action, both, right? And it's the action steps along that way. And it's the more you reflect to the fact, you say, maybe I shouldn't be on, this isn't the boat for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, that can be super hard for someone to accept. And it could make them they can help them find their path in a way that's more powerful for them. Mm-hmm. So it's not an easy, the compass path is not, internal compass is not an easy path path to follow, but it's the most rewarding and it's the most rewarding from what I've seen my clients do and what I do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. Well, because it's, as you said, it's like, it's not just about staying on the path. It's about when the path continues or changes direction, is having that courage to say, I'm glad I'm still on the bus. I'm glad there's a potential seat, but you know what? I actually don't want to be on this bus anymore. This bus that no longer aligns with my compass. It actually stands for everything against what I believe in. And so I'm going to choose to get off the bus as opposed to hoping to get thrown off.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I love that, because I do actually think there's a lot of people out there that are waiting. They're hoping to get thrown off. And to me, that's not a way to live. It's like, that is just passing time and stamping the timesheet. It's choose. If you just wait, if you hope to get thrown off the bus, there's something misaligned within you, and you're not willing to look at it because it's uncomfortable. And when you do get thrown off the bus, if you haven't looked in to get alignment, it's not going to be any easier or any more comfortable.
You're going to get on the wrong bus again. It's going to be a different one, but it's still going to be the wrong bus. And you're going to feel bad about all the time you spent in the first bus. And I'm like, oh, I should have stayed on because I spent years and I put so much into it. And what will people say about me? And what do I feel about myself? And it's really all that, like, just get off the bus and figure out, be in alignment to know which bus you're going to be on.
Yeah. And it's doing the work, right? It's doing the work. It's the internal work. That's the hardest thing in our society today, is to do the internal work, because the external society says, this is what you need. This is what you want. This is where you should go. Yes. And everybody is unique, and everybody has their own gifts, and everybody has a path that will bring them to their highest self. And it's up to the individual to choose that they want to start working on that and figure that out. And as they do and work and figure it out, this is where as it relates to leadership and corporate, it's like everything falls into place in an easier way. It really does fall. You have to do the work, which is hard, and things then start, you attract things and things fall into place versus, constriction.
Mm-hmm. I agree. There's a lot of that power in that alignment, and I think it's very hard sometimes if you're at the beginning of the journey, especially if you haven't done a lot of the work. If you feel like that feels like taking a giant leap of faith on something that you don't know, and you can't see how that could be true, because it's hard to understand until you start to see those things and feel them for yourself. Like, oh, this does line up better. I feel better. I feel like I can lead better. It's hard sometimes to take that jump. So, what advice would you have for people who might be feeling that internal worry?
That's a great question. And it's valid, and it's true. It is hard, and it is uncertain, and there is no certainty ever, which is not good advice. I know. And yet the advice that I would say is what my first coach I worked with said with me is like, Laura, when you leap, a net appears. Mm-hmm. And if you're in alignment and when you leap, things start happening. People start supporting you. It comes out. It's not like sit around, do nothing. It's you leap, you do the work, and that appears, and you keep along the path and you keep reassessing. And when I realized that it's a lifelong journey, it kind of went, damn, the high achiever in me is like, yeah, I want it done. I just want it done, and now I'm good. And I realized that it's a lifelong journey, and that's exciting. I get to explore new sides of me, old sides of me, different things in life that are adding to my path, and not all of them work, but I love seeing if it works or it doesn't work, truly, at this point, which when you're at the start of the journey, it's hard to see that. So it's the start of the journey. Advice is actually get help. Ask someone, work with someone to help you, because you can't see the label from inside the jar. You need that mirror. You need that person.
I like that.
You need that person to reflect back to you. You need to see the cave that's behind you. and only other people can help you with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some understanding as well that just life. I like how you describe it. Like things will just kind of happen, and it sounds hard to believe because you're like, what things will happen? How do you know things will happen? And if you look back at your life, things have always happened. They just haven't been always in alignment, but things have always continued to happen. There's always things happening around you. You'll pick up on this, that, the other thing. There's an opportunity to do these things. It's not about it magically happening. It's that life is always happening so much that once you start to direct that, you'll find all the little pieces along the way, and it's so hard to know that unless you reflect on like, hey, this has actually already been happening my whole life. We've always had things happening and random occurrences, and that will continue to happen. We're getting hopeful for an outcome, and it can feel really hard to attach yourself to that when you can't see the path.
So true. But what I love what you just said is when you look back, life is always happening. When you choose to direct it, that's the power.
Yes.
That's the power. It's still not always going to give you what you want, but you choose to direct it. It's going to give you what you think you want until you, and then you get there and you reevaluate it's not what you wanted. Okay, there's a new want, and you keep choosing to direct it though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. It's the choosing to direct it. And also knowing that, that part of that leaping is the more you've done the work and you continue the work to find that alignment, it's never easy, but it does become more of a muscle to say like, I know I can leap because the net is my internal compass.
Yes.
That will appear. And so that's there. If I know what it is and I truly know what's in there, that's the net. Whatever the scenery will show, the net will appear.
I love that. The net is the internal compass. It's so true. It's so true. And it does get easier. It does get easier. It's not easy, but it gets easier. And it's also very simple. The simplest path is typically the one that we don't want to follow. And yet it's the one we should. I was just going to say should. I hate the word should. The one we possibly could follow and see what happens.
Yeah, it makes me think that we spend so much time avoiding that path. And the hilarious part about avoiding it, usually, internally we have that dialogue of like, we've gotten so good at avoiding it, we pretend like it's not there, and yet we are so good at avoiding it, we know it's there. It's like this object in the middle of the room you never picked up, so you've just always been walking around it, and in your mind, it's not there, but it's there. You're always avoiding it, so you always know it's present.
Yeah.
Well, and what we avoid, what we resist persists, right? And so if you're avoiding something, if it's a pattern that you see that you're avoiding something, that's a signal for me to go, okay, I got to look at that. I got to lean into it, go through it, and see what's on the other side. And then that pattern goes away.
Yes. Yeah. It's like that lesson that keeps coming back over and over and over. I'm like, oh, I've been here before. Okay, which means I haven't actually gone through it. I haven't learned enough. And I'm going to have to stop avoiding it because it's coming back.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes we learn it, but not at a deep enough level because we're not ready yet. So when it comes back at us, it's like, oh, I've seen this, I've learned this, but I'm at a higher level. Like I like it a spiral. It's kind of like you're going up the spiral. It's like you come back on yourself, but you're at a higher level. And so it's showing you that sometimes you just haven't learned the lesson yet, but sometimes it's like, okay, you're ready to go deeper.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So much to unpack.
Yes, it is. Lifelong. We get to. It's what's so fun.
It is lifelong. Yes, it is lifelong. Yes. And the more we avoid it, the harder it is to do everything else.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We think we're protecting ourselves, and that's when we have to rip the Band-Aid off.
Indeed. Yes. Yeah. So we've talked about authenticity a few times, but what's your definition of authenticity?
It's a great question. And my definition of authenticity is finding your path. It truly is what's your alignment, being in alignment, which just means being in yourself in a way that you're accepting of all of you. Authenticity, when you accept all of who you are, what you what you feel, what you know, what you don't know, what you look like, what you don't look like, when you're fully accepting of who you are, then that helps you follow that path to say, this is how I want to grow and be in life. This is who I want to be. Then you're authentic. So, and that being is always growing, can always be growing and changing. But for me, it's based on acceptance of everything that I am as a person, and as a human being. And then that's authentic.
That's powerful.
It's a good definition.
Yes. Yeah. And where can people find you?
Thank you. LinkedIn is my best contact. I mean, I have a website, nnwcoaching.com, but LinkedIn is where all my contact information is. So that's always the best place. That's where I spend the most time.
Awesome. Wonderful.
What is NNW coaching?
North by Northwest coaching. So it's my compass.
Yes. That is your compass.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. Yeah. Well, thank you, Laura.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys. I could talk about this forever. So thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
Yeah. So much to unpack and so many tangents to go on.
Yes.
And good lessons. So thank you for your time.